All right. Time to wrap up R4. The first problem. How do y'all feel about trying to factor problem A? (10 times 2a minus 1 squared minus 19 times 2a minus 1 minus 15. Any thoughts? Lots of 2a minus 1s? Okay. I mean, do y'all know how to factor that? Okay. What if I rewrote it and wrote it like this? (10x squared minus 19x minus 15. How would you feel about factoring that? Can we do it? What would you do? Snowflake it? Okay. What did I do to rewrite it? What did I do? Going from what they gave me to what I wrote down. Okay, and what did I do with the 2a minus 1? Okay. No, I didn't distribute anything. What did I replace it with something? I replaced it with x. So here's what I basically did. I said, you know what? That's an ugly problem. I'm going to let x equal 2a minus 1. And if I make that statement that x equals 2a minus 1, I'm saying, hey, these guys are the same. I'm going to work this problem with x's instead of 2a minus 1 because that looks a lot easier. And this is what's called the substitution property. Now, I can factor this, and when I get done, I'm going to have an answer, but my answer is going to have x's. Does my problem have x's? No. Do what? You got to substitute back. Okay? All right, so y'all said snowflake it. So here's my snowflake. Top center is AC. A times C is, you can talk louder, negative 150. Bottom center is B, and B is negative 19. What goes in the top left and top right? Just 10. 10x and 10x. And what goes in the last two? Negative 25 and 6. Because negative 25 times 6 is 50. Negative 25 plus 6 is? Do you remember? I'm going to go ahead and walk through it again. So, and those of you that were not in this class last semester, y'all probably used the TI Inspire. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know how to use the TI Inspire, but I do know how to use the 84s. So grab your calculator of choice.
I want the one we use missing. I don't know how to use these other ones. I can take the SAT and not know how to use these calculators for it.
Well, I'm going to show y'all how to do this on the 84.
I'm just gonna make a marketplace on here.
Do what?
Just log this side out.
Okay, clear your calculators. It decided to follow somebody else. Come back over here. Thank you. Okay, go to y equals. I want two numbers that multiply to get what? So I'm going to type negative 150 divided by x. I want two numbers that multiply together to get negative 150. That's going to be in my y1. But I want those two numbers to add up to something else, right? So what goes into y2? I don't use the number at all.
Oh,
y1. So how do I get a y1 here? How do I put a y1 here? Alpha trace. There it is. Plus x. Every time you're looking for two numbers that multiply together to get one number, but add together to get something else, this is what you're going to put into y1 and y2. Okay. The only number you're going to enter is that AC number, which is in this case was negative 150. I will then go to my table, and I look through my y2 column, and I want to find negative 19. Do you see a negative 19 in the?
Right there.
Okay. So here's my negative 19. Here's my sum. 6 times negative 25 is negative 150. 6 plus negative 25 is negative 19. My two numbers are 6 and negative 25. Okay? I have 10x and negative 25. Does that reduce? Yes. 5 goes into both of those, right? Dividing both those by 5 gives me 2x and negative 5. How about 10x and 6? Divided by 2 give me 5x and 3. So 10x squared minus 19x minus 15 factors into 2x minus 5 times 5x plus 3. Questions on that? Yeah, we're not done. Now that can't be our answer because our problem did not have x's in it. Our problem had a's in it. So I'm going to replace the x's with 2a minus 1. We're substituting. Do not forget parentheses. So putting this together, I have 2 times x, but x is 2a minus 1, minus 5, times 5 times 2a minus 1, plus 3. And now we just have some simple algebra, some distribution to take place, combining like terms, and then we'll have our answer. Distributing the 2 gives me 4a minus 2 minus 5 times distributing the 5 gives me 10a minus 5 plus 3. And now we have some really simple, I don't know, when did y'all start subtracting? Second grade or first grade? A couple days ago? Okay. Final answer, 4a minus 7 times 10a minus 2. Questions on part A? Okay. Letter B, 2a minus 1 cubed plus 8. It is a sum of cubes. Can we do the same substitution on this one? Yeah, same substitution. Let x equal 2a minus 1. So that gives me x cubed plus 8. And Parker said this is a sum of cubes. So this is really x cubed plus 2 cubed, right? Because 2 cubed is 8. And we know the formula for sum and difference of cubes. And if we don't, we have it written down and we have easy access to that. What does x cubed plus 8 factor into?
X plus 8.
No. Not 8. X plus 2. Because it's 2 cubed. Let's see what you did. And that's why, did you write this step down, Parker? Where I actually identified the cubes, and that might help you. Very easy to do what you did. Okay, times. First term squared would be x squared. Opposite sign, so minus. Multiply those two guys together and we get 2x. Always plus. Square this last guy, square that 2 and get 4. It's now factored. But that can't be the answer because we have x's. Okay. Plug your 2a minus 1 back in. Again, best practice, I'm replacing x with 2a minus 1. Put it in parentheses. It's just best practice. You see how important that the parentheses are on the 2a minus 1 squared? And we have a lot of cleaning up to do. Looking at the first part, what's 2a minus 1 plus 2? 2a plus 1 times. What is 2a minus 1 squared? That is a binomial, right? We're squaring a binomial, so you can FOIL it. You can apply the perfect square factor if you want to. It's a perfect square, so let's square the first guy. 4a squared. It's a perfect square, so take these two guys here, multiply them together. 2a times negative 1. Double it. Negative 4a. And negative 1 squared plus 1. Now what? Okay, we're distributing. So minus 4a. Continue distributing. Plus 2. Gentlemen, I was going to ask y'all to quit jacking around. Okay. One step left, right? Just combine like terms. 2a plus 1. Second piece, starting with the highest degree term, 4a squared. So this is done. Next would be minus 8a. Next. And there's my answer. Questions on this guy? So substitution, just some extra steps. Substitute, make it a lot simpler. Factor it, and then go back and plug it in to fix it. Any questions on part B? Okay. Part C, we have 6z squared minus, 6z to the fourth minus 13z squared minus 5. What are y'all thinking? What would be a good substitution in this to make this one look like a quadratic? Definitely not a difference of squares. I'd rather try and be wrong than no answer at all. Is that a quadratic? Y'all are killing me. What's the highest exponent in a quadratic? 2. That's why it's called a quadratic. Is the highest degree term a 2? No. So is this a quadratic? No. How could I rewrite this to make it look like a quadratic? I see where you're going with that. Okay, in a quadratic we have ax squared plus bx plus c, right? This is a z squared. I want it to be an x. So can I just say x is z squared? Let x equal z squared. Can I do that? Well, what would happen if I squared z squared? I get z to the fourth. Okay? Well, if x squared is z to the fourth, then I can rewrite this as 6x squared minus 13. Z squared is x, so x minus 5. Is that a quadratic? Yes. Can we factor that? Yes. AC goes in the top center, negative 30. B goes in the bottom center, negative 13. Top left and top right, 6x. What two numbers multiply together to get negative 30? But when I add them together, I get negative 13. 2 and negative 15. 2 times negative 15 is negative 30. 2 plus negative 15 is negative 13. 6x and 2, do they reduce? 3x and 1. 6x and negative 15? 2x and negative 5. Which means my answer is 3x plus 1 times 2x minus 5. But that's not my answer because my problem doesn't have x's in it. Replace the x's with the z squares. Final answer, 3z squared plus 1 times 2z squared minus 5. That's why my 2's have loops, and that's also why I cross my z's. I've seen people cross their 7's too for whatever reason. Anybody in here do that? Did you? Any questions on these? So finishing R4, that means we are all factoring experts.